Okay.
All right. Here we are. Back again.
To the listeners,
No technical troubles whatsoever.
we have been dealing with more technical troubles. You will see, as I haven't even put the episode out actually as of recording this one yet. With the Words of Radiance podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. That one's fun.
So hopefully that is done.
Yeah. Hopefully.
I guess welcome back to the Lost in the Cosmere podcast.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. Did you like the last episode?
We are honestly really tired. So if we sometimes feel a little
I'm
too
feeling
lax,
I'm feeling a little more awake now.
okay, well, good. If we sound a little more laxed, it's because
You know,
this
I
took
don't
longer
know.
than I thought. Oh, here we go.
I don't know why more people don't drink. I don't know why more people don't put their allomantic metals in whiskey.
There you go. Perfect.
Why?
Perfect.
Why don't they do that? It just makes sense.
It just makes sense.
It just makes sense.
So Wax and Wayne, number 1 and 2, The Alloy of Law, and Shadows of Self.
Yeah.
So spoiler-free review.
Spoiler-free review for, let's start with Alloy of Law.
Okay, so Alloy of Law. I thought it was a fun little romp.
Yeah, when I read it, it was very refreshing compared to the rest of the comic.
I think so.
Especially because there's not a world set in that time period.
No, they're all very fantasy-esque.
Yeah, they're all very medieval.
Medieval, yeah, that's better.
But this is set in 1800s, our time, Industrial Revolution era. It was very fun. Got some noir elements to it.
Mm-hmm.
But a little more lighthearted.
I would say so. I mean, I don't think it's like world shattering like the original Mistborn trilogy was.
Oh no,
but
the original Mistborn trilogy was much more dark. It had darker tones.
Yeah, I mean,
this book still has darker tones, but it leans much more into humor, whereas the original trilogy did not lean as much. It's had funny moments, but it took itself much more seriously.
Well, honestly, and this is like more, I think, a thing for everything. I've noticed that his humor has honestly gotten better over time.
I think his humor, definitely gets better.
The newer books have more of that, just like witty humor, but it's not like MCU humor.
No, I wouldn't say so. No.
But yes, so it was kind of a nice breath of fresh air. And you know, I mean, I don't think he needed to do it, but I'm happy that he did.
Oh yeah, I'm happy because I'm pretty sure he wrote the first book, right? And it was going to be just like a little standalone thing. But he had so much fun writing it that he had to write a whole era,
right?
With it.
And then he was like, so now I'm going to do 2 more eras, maybe another one. Actually,
maybe another one.
There might be 3 more.
A cyberpunk era, jeez.
But yeah. So I think he handled it well.
Yeah.
So it gives me I'm not worried about him doing the whole couple 100 years thing, and then we're doing another era and a couple.
No, well, the era 3 as well is supposed to take place 80s. About 90 years after.
So 19.
So 1970s, 80s, yeah. Like early computers.
Yeah, you said something about hacking.
Yeah, the main character is supposed to be like a hacker girl, and I want to say I heard something about. This is off topic now from
Alloy of Law.
Yeah, we're just talking about Era 3 now.
Yeah.
But I want to say I heard something about her being like a trans character as well. Main character, trans hacker girl, lady, they, them. I don't know. So that could be, I think that's pretty cool.
That'd be cool.
You know, Brandon has gotten way better about inclusivity in his more recent books. So
yeah,
I think
it seems
it's cool to see him writing more diverse characters.
Right.
But
anyway,
back to Alloy of Law.
Yeah, Alloy of Law. I thought it was good. I don't think there's really a lot to talk about. I think when it comes to Alloy of Law, because it's really just setting them up.
Yeah, it is just setting up Wax and Wayne. It's setting up your core cast characters, right? So Wax, Wayne, Marcy, Steris
a
is
little bit of Steris.
pretty absent in this
Honestly,
first book.
She's kind of absent in the second one too.
Yeah, but she does become a main character.
Yeah, I figured.
So yeah,
but I think it's mainly there to kind of just be like, yeah, like all of the characters from Era 1 have kind of gone down in history. And it's interesting how Brandon's kind of set them all up, I think.
Yeah, this book really just sets the tone for where the world is at now,
Yeah.
Just trying to answer all those questions you have after the original trilogy, basically telling you where this world is 300 something odd years later.
Yeah.
And the world is doing pretty freaking good.
Seems like it's doing
I mean, if you really look at it, they went from as medieval as you can get to 300 years later, industrial revolution.
Considering,
so they're progressing pretty quickly.
Well, we can talk about that
on the technological.
We can talk about it later when we talk about Shadows of Self, because there's a line in Shadows of Self that was interesting. But Alloy of Law wise, I thought it was good. I thought it was fun, but I can see myself liking the other ones because I liked Shadows of Self better than Alloy.
Right.
of Law.
Yes.
I think it was.
I do think it is the better written book.
Yeah, I think it has more substance.
Yeah,
like something to it.
Yeah. Oh, well, because
I don't know if
it takes the established characters of book one and really makes you feel for them. Really explores their personalities a lot more.
Yeah.
Whereas in book one, they are just kind of the more tropey adventurers,
right?
Adventure type cops.
I think Alloy of Law feels like a standalone story, so that might be what like throws me off about it. Is that I'm like, I know that there's more books.
Shadows of Self is more substance.
Oh yeah,
like you said.
So, but
fleshes out Wayne a little bit more. You know.
So, but I guess the biggest thing about it is I like the fact that it's got a little bit of a Sherlock Holmes kind of feel.
Yes.
Mixed with Batman.
Yeah.
He still has that Batman.
If Batman blew people's heads off.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah. Batman like totally murdered people. But yeah, I think I'm interested, especially with like how Era 3 is going to go, if he's willing to kind of make each era very different.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want it too samey.
Right.
And that's what you worry about with a lot of these series where it's like, oh, it's like years and years and years.
Yeah, I feel like Era 3 will be more Cold War-esque. There was something said forever ago about this. Get ready for this. You ready? Something said forever ago about a Mistborn serial killer for Era 3.
Oh.
So there was like some talk about, like Brandon said in some blob, about like an Alamantic SWAT team sent or like set up to hunt and kill this Mistborn serial killer. So Mistborn on the loose, killing people, and the main character joins a SWAT team to take him down. Could be
pretty really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, but we're excited for Era 3 / Alloy of Law and Shadows of Self. They're really good. I really like it. I mean, I go back and forth on if I like Stormlight or the Mistborn stuff more.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I lean more towards Mistborn.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah.
Yeah.
So going into more spoiler territory.
Well, I think some other things to say.
Okay.
I think both books are very well paced.
Yes,
because they're shorter books.
Yes.
So even compared to the first trilogy of Mistborn books,
yeah.
Which I do think you could read the first trilogy of Mistborn and go straight into the second trilogy if you really wanted to.
Yeah, after reading the first two, it seems like it.
Yeah. The first two books, at least, are about half the length of any of the first trilogy books.
Yeah.
So if you want a faster paced book, these are way faster.
Yeah.
These are
I think
shorter books, your average book length. Also, I think both villains in these books are incredibly good.
Yeah, so I don't know because it's funny because, like I said, I compare him to like Batman. I think I've always said that I like Marvel more than DC because of like how the villains tend to be more grounded and less like I guess cuddly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like such like hardcore threat. Where I like the more grounded villains, like Batman.
Yeah.
Right. DC tends to have more of those like godly ones. So I think Mistborn's got that like, the villains are they're just like beings.
Yeah.
kind of thing. Whereas like these are like, I mean, I literally could see these being Batman.
Yeah, these are just people, you know.
Like there's a couple scenes in Shadows of Self where the villain is kind of, using the hemorrhagy to talk to Wax, and the way that she's talking gives off this like creepy Joker vibe.
Yeah. I mean, even the villain at Alloy of Law, his powers are insanely broken, and even then, in the way he acts and everything he does, he
feels grounded.
Yeah, he's very human person. You know, he's a normal guy.
Right. He's just a little crazy.
Yeah, he just has some extreme views.
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, because I mean, I think if you really want to even double down on the Batman kind of comparison, it is talking about a lot of the kind of stuff that was going on during the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
With the labor shortages and stuff like that, which I think kind of goes into Batman sometimes, but more in like a modern sense.
I mean, Batman does have its noir elements.
Right, obviously. But that's not a noir thing.
The industrial stuff? No, I guess not.
No, I mean in terms of like the fact that, Bruce Wayne's like the best, I guess, in Gotham.
Yeah, in Gotham, yeah.
They're all like horrible rich people except for
Bruce Wayne is the billionaire who does use all of his money.
Right, which I think Brandon leans more into the Batman thing with this.
Yeah.
Less because Wax is kind of just like, I'm not going to this party.
Yeah, I think the aspect with Wax is he's so focused on being a detective, right? That he forgets, lawman, that he forgets the other side of him that is the rich and wealthy, powerful status symbol of the city.
To have a responsibility.
So like he probably could be doing a lot of good with all that money and status, but he's too focused on what he knows and he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think now we could get into more spoilers things. Yeah.
Okay, so again, like there's really not a lot of spoilers, I think, in terms of like Alloy of Law. It mainly, like the Koloss are still around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool.
There's Koloss blooded people.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool.
Well, and they're not, they can turn into full blown Koloss. Because I read the Allomancer Jack too.
Well, yeah.
Which kind of explains how they can go to full blown Koloss, but they don't have to necessarily if they're Koloss.
Yeah. Well, I think I don't think all Koloss blooded people can do that.
Okay.
But yeah, there are Koloss blooded people who are just naturally, stronger and faster, can take a beating. But more, they're just naturally a little bigger, I guess, too.
Yeah. Built-in computer arms.
Yeah, basically. But there are still Koloss out there. Right. There's a lot of the things we learn about what's going on in the world outside of the basin is through newspaper articles and Allomancer Jack stuff.
Right.
Which is actually kind of funny. Because there's a few moments throughout the series where Wax talks about how Allomancer Jack is a fraud and
right,
how he doesn't like him.
Well, because into the Batman thing again, I actually like the fact that Brandon did that. He literally did do that on purpose. I saw in the little postscript for Allomancer Jack that it's literally meant to be a Wax is like current Batman, whereas Allomancer Jack is Adam West Batman.
Yeah,
where it's like he loves both parts.
Right.
Like shark
yeah.
With Adam West.
Allomancer Jack definitely uses Koloss repellent.
Would have Koloss repellent 100%.
Or Mist Wraith repellent.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
So, but yeah, I like how he's kind of set up the world with those little like pulp kind of nods. It feels campy enough to where it's not annoying and it's just fun. And that's why it like kind of works. But then when you get into Shadows of Self, it is kind of having the repercussions, I think, post Era 1.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy that they are exploring. And it clearly seems like it's in a good way. The way that Brandon's kind of, putting it down like, Thazid became, the god of Gadriel. And it's like, but is he like perfect?
Yeah, I mean, he's still a person at the end of the day,
right?
With godlike powers.
Yeah.
So he's trying to be the best, air quotes God
Mm-hmm.
he can be for the people that he loves so much. You know? So yeah, as good of a person says it is, it's like still, no matter how good you are,
You can't be
like,
perfect.
Yeah, can't be perfect.
So, but I mean, it doesn't get like hardcore in depth with that, I think, in Shadows of Self. But that's the main
it does start to
motive.
question some things. Wax starts to question some things.
Yeah,
about
Wax starts
harmony.
to, yes,
Because he is a
Apathian.
Apathian. He
Yes,
does worship harmony.
They explain
and then
that
in Shadows of Self, that's where he really starts to throw some doubts.
Yeah, because Brandon has it set up. Survivorism,
yeah,
is still a thing.
Yeah,
and then the
Survivorists.
Survivorists are still a thing, and the path, which is worshiping harmony, which I think the Terrace religion changed to that.
I don't know if all terrorists worship harmony. I imagine most terrorists do, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, because he meets up with his grandmother.
Yeah, but there are a lot of terrorists who just live in. They kind of seclude themselves from people. Like there's some terrorists who still live in the city, but they live in like secluded neighborhoods.
I think he said they were like huts.
Yeah,
like they weren't even like
a lot of terrorists try to keep to their own community.
Yeah,
in a way, like they keep things within the terrorist community. So if there's like crime or anything, they keep that. They settle it themselves.
But Wax is a Pathian, which is basically what they don't have to worship harmony. They kind of just like
Harmony's whole deal with following the path is that by worshiping him is to not worship him. It's to do, like acts of good or whatever.
Yeah. And then he has a little earring.
Yeah.
That allows him to
and
commune with harmony.
In Alloy of Law, he does get that little earring. Doesn't he get it at the end of Alloy of Law, or is it?
No, he has it. He has it before Alloy of Law.
Oh yeah.
He's talking. He has like
I guess scene. Harmony just never spoke to him through it, or he never put the earring in.
So Harmony speaks to him at the end in the final fight of Alloy of Law. He kind of speaks to Harmony, but then there's like more in Shadows of Self. But he alludes to a certain guardian coming and giving Wax the earring very early on. I think it might have been even before he left for the Roughs. Like I think it's that long ago.
Yeah, it was probably like a conjure or something.
No, they say who it was.
Oh, do they?
It was Milan.
Oh, Milan.
Yeah. Or it was it was Tensu. One of them. It was the one that brought it to him.
Right.
So
either way, by Harmony.
Yeah. So
Harmony has been setting him up to be this warrior in a way.
Like almost like trying to have like another Vin, I guess.
Yeah. And he's kind of trying to make a warrior as capable as Vin.
But that doesn't always go well if you're trying to force that.
Right. And it doesn't sit well with Wax too much when he learns like
some truths
about that sort of thing.
Yeah. So I guess.
Do you want to talk about Alloy of Law first, and then we can go?
We should just talk about it.
So, what did you think? I mean, you said you liked Alloy of Law.
I did.
What do you think of Wax and Wayne?
So I really like Wax and Wayne a lot.
Okay.
I think
who do you like more?
Wax.
Yeah, we knew
100%.
We knew that. Yeah.
Wax is like top 3 character now.
100%.
I don't know where he sits against Kaladin.
Okay. I think you probably still like Kaladin a little more.
Yeah. For now.
But by the end, you could easily Wax more.
I do really like Wax. I think what's great is that since it's kind of mainly focusing on Wax, Wayne, and Marcy, it's not as many people he has to deal with. So you're kind of getting in more in depth with them. And I really like that.
Yes.
All 3 of them have very rough.
Yeah, they do.
And I feel like we get more dirty with them. Because like Vin had a pretty rough backstory.
I mean, her childhood was rough, obviously. I mean, yeah.
But I think it was like Vin and Kelsier had like the rough ones, and then everybody else had like rough ones, but we never really got into.
Yeah, they didn't explore the side characters as much as I would have liked them to, Brandon to in the first trilogy. But he really does try to explore
because each
character pretty in depth in these books.
Yeah, because he alludes to what Wayne has to deal with, and he kind of talks about more.
Yeah.
Why Wayne is what Wayne's kind of like thing is.
Yeah, his aversion to guns and
right
things like that.
But they all have pretty dark backstories, and I think that just makes for more. I was gonna say gutted characters, but like
it just makes I
hard-edged characters.
Yeah, it gives the characters a little more depth too.
Because even Marcy is like,
it's like, I mean, in the first trilogy, like I love Ham, you know, but Ham is a character that is not explored much at all, right? So you can't really grow close to Ham as a character. But with these characters, he's like a little bit of a smaller cast, but much more focus on each of them that you can really get attached.
Oh yeah, we really get in depth because I mean, there's like a lot of one-on-ones. There was like a couple one-on-ones with Marcy and Wayne when kind of Wax is going on. And like I said, it kind of alludes to Wayne's past and why he averts guns because he killed that one.
Yes,
accident. On accident.
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 He did not mean to kill him. He did. He was trying to rob him,
but
he accidentally.
But even Marcy, with her kind of almost like her life is essentially just a giant uphill battle.
Yeah.
Because she didn't really. That one's not even that one's not even her fault in an accident. Way.
She just had a rough upbringing. As a bastard and growing up with a useless allomantic ability.
Right. I go back and forth on how I feel about Brandon setting it up where she feels that it's a useless one because I think it's so contextually like good.
Sure. But like if you had that power, how would you use it?
Where you can slow in everything fast.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you would go super slow and everything. Yeah.
I sometimes get clinically bored.
Sure. But you would really just give up time like that?
Well,
that's the thing, like you would be sitting in the room for a minute and then an hour would go by outside.
If I truly didn't know anything was going on.
Yeah, like I just wasted an hour.
I go back and forth on it.
Like if you could do it to other people, like if you could slow them in a bubble, right? But that's Wayne's thing. He traps people in his bubble.
He trapped.
He goes fast. Well, I mean, she traps.
He trapped Miles in the
bubble. Sure, yeah. But then you're stuck in the bubble with somebody. Well, like you better hold your own in that bubble.
Well,
and your friends around you better help you out quick or something.
True.
That's the thing. In like a group setting too. Like, what if you're fighting like 5 dudes and you only trap one of them in the bubble? Now they're gonna surround you.
I guess you make a point.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's tough ability to work with.
But it's so contextually really good.
I mean, when she uses it at the end of Alloy of Law, yeah, it's insanely good.
And in Shadows itself.
Yes.
It's one of them. But I think the action's really good.
The action is insanely good. And these Wax's abilities as a coin shot.
I was worried because they weren't Mistborns.
Right.
So I was worried that it was going to be a little action-wise boring.
When I was originally reading when I originally heard about it, I was like, oh, so it's going to be like a buddy cop thing. I bet one of them's going to be like a soother or something, to like smooth talk criminals and things like that. And I bet like the other one's going to be like a thug.
Yeah,
have pewter or something, to beat them up, So they have like a nice cop and a bad cop. But it's like, no, their powers are so much more interesting than that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and like the whole introduction of Twinborn,
Yeah.
Having one ferrochem ability and one allomantic ability.
Right.
Insanely cool.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I like that addition really well because, I mean, and I haven't really sat down about it and thought about it, but it's just like it makes you want to sit down and go, what would be the tier list of combos?
The combos.
You know what I mean?
So Wax's combo, I think, is pretty disgusting.
His combo's pretty gross.
His combo's insanely good, right?
Yeah.
So he can store his weight.
Yeah.
And he can push against metal, right?
Yeah.
So not only can he make himself lighter. He can also increase his weight. And one of the biggest parts about metal is that when you're pushing against something, it's your weight versus the object's weight. Right. So if you are lighter, you're going to get pushed farther. If you're heavier, you're going to push that object farther. Right. And when you're a ferrochemist that stores weight, you're walking around lighter all the time. You're always going to be storing weight. Right. Because why wouldn't you?
So
why wouldn't you just walk around like 3/4 your body weight?
Yeah.
Every day.
So when when Miles's group shows up and during that ball, he's like zipping around the room.
He practically has like endless weight to spare if he wanted to get heavier, right? And he can make himself as light as a feather.
Yeah.
So he can push against any object and he'll just go zoom.
Done.
Like that.
Yeah. It's pretty busted.
They also talk about how when he makes himself lighter, when he pushes against objects, he goes faster too, right? Than if he were to make himself heavier while pushing against an object.
Yeah.
Like, so there's some kind of effect there, between the abilities.
Yeah.
But yeah, his abilities are crazy fast. And then again, like he shoots a bullet, he can also push against the bullet. Right. To make it go even faster and hit harder. And then
I like that.
He shoots a bullet, he makes himself heavier, push the bullet even harder and even faster. Right? Like shit's crazy like that. He's holding a shotgun, right? He makes himself heavier so that the shotgun doesn't knock him back like at all.
Well, and it's even the point with the fact with like the stealing, the steel pushing.
And then he can make a steel bubble around himself to like make sure bullets like divert away from him.
He doesn't
crazy.
He doesn't pull the guns, but he does cock guns without touching them.
Yeah, he can push against.
He can push against the hammers.
Like the hammers
on Asterion. Vindication.
What
a great name
so cool.
for a gun.
Yeah.
Such a good name.
It's
funny. There's so many like cheeky names that Brandon came up with.
Oh, but I love them.
But like, they're not annoying.
No, they're just good.
Like I like
Vindication. Hell yeah.
Cool.
Like if you were going to name Vin after anything, why not a badass gun?
Why not a big gun?
Right? Because that's what she was.
Oh, yeah.
She was just a murder machine.
Well, but not a big gun. It's just a little
small,
hand gun.
But deadly gun.
Right.
Yeah, that was Vin, right?
Yeah. But even some of the places in Ellendale.
Yeah.
Are named after some of the peeps.
I'm sure they mentioned this in one of the books that they're like high lingo. They're like imperial lingo is spooks. Street language.
Wasn't the where as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot what it was called. What they called it.
But it's either way.
I think it's just high imperial.
Like, high imperial. So it's like spooks backstreet like dirty language.
Yeah.
Is now like the highest class way you could speak in the entire city. Which I think is really funny.
It's just so cool.
Something's so stupid, but like you're just like, yeah, that makes sense.
It worked.
Spook was a fucking,
Well, he was
the last Mistborn. He was a king, know, when Sazed
was the last Mistborn.
Yeah. The Lord Mistborn.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the fact that they all like gave accounts and stuff like that. And kind of it just went down in history. But what's even better is and it's always good when Brandon makes it realistic that it obviously has been 300 years. Stories have been twisted.
Oh yeah.
In and out.
Yeah, history 100%. Is not 100% clear for everybody.
No.
Like Vin and Elend are actually like probably way more idolized and beloved in the eyes of the people than they probably would be without Sazed's like intervention or anything like that, right? Because you got to think like if Sazed was friends with
I don't think anybody would know about him
and Vin, right? And then Spook, who idolized Elend and Vin, right, were the two most powerful people in the world by the end of the series, right?
Yeah.
So it's like their control over their perception throughout history was overwhelmingly positive, despite Vin being, kind of a ruthless killer. And Elend being somewhat of a tyrant.
Right.
But again, I mean, obviously they did those things to save the world.
Yeah.
Right. And they were heroes, but you have two of their best friends that hardly talk about any of their flaws in the history books.
Which, I think is probably why we go into that with Shadows of Self-Wise. And we don't need to push this.
Yeah.
Or, well, says it is trying to push it, and you do wonder if, like, should we?
Yeah. Should we?
But anyway, I like that he kept that in there. Because, like, I had figured with, when we had done the Mistborn podcast long ago, I had figured there was going to be some bridges gapped, kind of, for all the characters and stuff like that from Era 1, those names aren't just going to go away. Like, they'll be there, immortalized.
Sure.
And I think that's cool. But even little things. I think one of the squares, I don't know if it was in Shadows Alloy, but one of them's like Tinwill. It was named after.
Yeah. Just one of the blocks in the city.
I mean,
named after a character.
We didn't even talk about the fact that Wax is related to Breeze.
Yeah, Wax is Breeze's long lost, not long lost, but descendant. Yeah, one of his descendants, which makes him one of the most wealthy and powerful people in the city, purely because Breeze was a friend of Dazed and Vin and Elend and Spook, right?
And married into the Set.
Yeah.
Family? Because he was with Alrianne.
He was with, that was one of the Set's
Set.
daughters.
Yeah, Alrianne.
Rand. Yeah.
Yeah. So, which I think is cool.
I do think it's cool that, like, Breeze's picture just hanging up in Wax's house.
I can't wait. I hope Brandon kind of gets the
Mistborn movie,
Mistborn movie off the ground, because I think it'd be an interesting set of movies to do.
Oh yeah,
I feel like this is one where they could get away with, like, these are unnecessary sequels that kind of, it doesn't matter because they're almost kind of like not really sequels, but they are. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that works.
Are you trying to say they could do 7 Mistborn movies? Because I agree with you.
Oh, yeah. And then they'll do, like, technically 10 for Ghost Bloods.
And then 14.
And then...
So somebody was like... I think people are questioning Brandon. They're like, are you trying to make 16 Mistborn books? and he's open about it. He's like, that was never part of the plan. That's not part of the plan. But he's like, it would be a happy accident if it were to happen. Wouldn't it? And he's like, I don't know if I'll quite make the 16 books in total, but then he's like, I don't know if I'll make it just 16 in total. Because, like, well, we're at 7 right now.
We're at 7 right now.
And then 3 more with another trilogy.
Yeah.
And then another 3 and another 3.
Possibly.
Could make us 16.
Brandon also has this thing where he goes, I'm going to do this, and then he doesn't.
But the thing is, like,
he does more.
Yeah. The thing is, we could get 4 books in an era like with
Wax and Wayne.
Which would kind of ruin. We'll see.
But anyway, the villain was really good in Alloy of Law. I really liked Miles.
Miles is a great villain. Speaking of, we didn't even talk about Wax's or Wayne's twin-born abilities.
Oh my God, we're like all over.
I know, we're all over the place, but
you're listening anyway, guys. But
Wayne's powers are really cool too. We finally know what
Bend Alloy does.
One of the last metals does. Yeah, Bend Alloy.
Bend Alloy.
Bend Alloy. Yeah, it slows time in a bubble around.
Yes.
Everyone.
And then what was cadmium is a
what Mercy. Yeah,
but
it speeds up time.
Did we know that?
No.
Yeah. So
in the first trilogy, we did not know that.
But those were the 2 that we didn't.
Yeah, because like at the end of the first trilogy, says it's like in his note to Spook is like, wonder if you can find out what like the last couple metals do. Mm-hmm. So in this series, we know,
and we know
what all the metals do.
We know that, and then did they talk about aluminum in Era 1?
So
I feel like it's like one time.
Yeah. So when the Inquisitors in Book 1 make Vin swallow aluminum and burn it, and it erases all of her metal.
Yeah.
I don't know if they use it more than that once throughout the series.
I think it was probably in the 3rd book when she gets captured. By Ruin.
No, they make her do that in the first book.
Oh, do they?
When the Inquisitors capture her.
Oh.
She gets captured in the first book.
So it's probably like kind of a blink and you miss it type thing.
Yeah, maybe.
And Brandon was like, I will do that. Or he knew. We know.
He also likes to call aluminum Ralkalest. Like, if something's like ancient, like if you're reading like a book that takes place like far from modern times, like in the past, like people will call it Ralkalest because it's still like a rare, unexplained metal, like
that's a real thing
in the books. Yeah.
Oh, in the book.
In the book.
I was like, in real life,
no, people
used
call
to
it Ralkalest. So like in Emperor's Soul, when she's trapped in the prison and she's like, I can't soul change this prison because the walls are lined with Ralkalest. And it's because the walls are lined with aluminum, and aluminum is a inert metal when it comes to investiture. Yeah. Well, silver's a destructive metal when it comes to investiture. Like investiture and silver had to destroy each other. And aluminum is just completely unaffected. Yeah. That's why they talk about in there too. Some people wear aluminum lining in their hats.
Yes, which I thought was a cool touch.
They cannot be affected by emotional allomancy.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, but it's expensive.
Not for Wayne.
Not for Wayne, but
he just keeps trading hats.
But for most people, it's expensive because they don't know how easily aluminum can be made.
Yeah.
Right? But by Era 3, aluminum, people are going to know how to make that shit, you know? It's going to be the 80s. Aluminum's going to be a metal everywhere, yeah. So it's like, holy shit, what kind of world will that look like?
Right. Yeah. But what do we want to talk about next?
Wayne's powers are cool.
Wayne's powers are very cool.
Bend Alloy is cool. The fact that he fights with dueling canes is cool.
Yes, I'm happy that they both don't fight with guns. I think it would be boring.
Yeah. The fact that he's a healer, he can heal himself.
Yeah.
With
he's a little
busted. I also like how whenever he talks about storing up health, he's like, yeah, I just sit in my room sick and drink whiskey for like a whole week at a time.
A couple weeks.
Yeah. It's great. He's like, it's great.
The worst. No, well, because I like it because like part of the way through the book, they're like they're investigating.
Mm-hmm.
And he keeps on like,
yeah,
because he's sick.
He's making himself sick so he can store up health.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that that's like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That you can like make yourself sick or like slow.
Ferrochemy is a fucking cool ass.
It's a cool one.
Cool ass power.
I like
it. But then Miles. His Twinborn ability,
it's golden gold,
is pretty fucking broken because he's a gold ferrochemist and a gold allomancer. So broken compound his metals to get infinite healing.
Basically,
he stores up healing in a metal mine.
Yep.
And then he eats that metal mine. And then he burns the metal. And then it gives him a burst of fucking healing ability. And then he just stores all that into another one.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just compounds it over and over again. So as long as he has gold, he has infinite healing.
Yeah, it makes me interested to see insane. What Brandon's going to.
Because the fact that you can store up a finite amount of healing, right?
Yeah.
Into like a small little gold ball bead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fill it to the max with healing.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you consume it and burn it, burning it increases the amount of healing that you put into it.
Right.
Right. Because allomancy is a net positive art, not neutral.
Yeah.
Right. And so
hold on. Was Miles actually I don't think Miles was a twinborn.
He was a twinborn.
Was he?
Yeah.
Because
he had ferrochemical and allomantic.
But they said I thought I remembered the way they described his ferrochemical chemical braces as being in his skin.
Yeah, I think they just melded into his skin, or he cut them into his skin.
Okay,
most likely, just so there was absolutely no hope of people pushing upon them.
Oh, I was wondering if maybe
because
because
normal like bracers from ferrochemists are treated as though they can't be pushed on anyway.
Yeah,
right.
Sazed kind of walks around and they were almost
like you cannot, like a normal allomancer cannot push against a ferrochemist's braces, right? Whereas like if somebody was just wearing like a normal bracelet, it could get pushed upon.
Mhm.
But Ferrochemy is different because you're storing things in there, so it's got investiture in it, right? But in rare cases like Vin, you have a strong enough push or pull or whatever, you can affect them.
Yeah.
So he probably just kept them in his body so that there was doubly sure. And I mean, why not keep them in your body, right? If you can cut your arm open, stick it in there, and it's just going to heal immediately over.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah. So
I was immortal.
Yeah. And then, so yeah, Miles was cool. And then,
so yeah, compounding. Crazy.
Yeah. So, introducing the compounding shows off everybody else is kind of like, I guess their names are still in the history books. And then, we kind of get to the end of Alloy of Law, and somebody delivers something to Marcy.
A notebook. Marcy, yeah.
Yes. Marsh delivers a notebook to Marcy.
About
hemorrhagy, right?
Hemorrhagy. Yeah.
Spook.
From Spook.
Talking to somebody else.
Spook wrote a notebook about hemorrhagy.
Because Seiza didn't really want to do anything with it.
Yeah.
And Spook was like,
but it is a magic that exists.
Yeah.
And whether you like it or not, it's a big part of what Seiza is.
Yeah, I mean,
he's half harmony, or he's half preservation, half ruin, harmony.
Right.
Yeah, he's allomancy and hemorrhagy and ferrochemy.
So that got passed down.
Hemorrhagy is the thing.
But yes, so Marsh is still around. He's the last Inquisitor.
He is the last Inquisitor, yeah.
That's cool. I like that he's kind of like, not really like the devil. Kind of just
death.
He's just death.
Yeah.
But really, cool. He's just, Marsh.
No, but imagine I'm
gonna go sit in my
imagine living in Era 2, right? You're a normal Joe. There's so many stories. You live in a weird world, right? Maybe you're a allomancer, maybe you're not, right? You're just living your life though. And you hear fairy tales about the survivor and the ascendant warrior fighting evil inquisitors, right. And you hear in the picture books and see what the inquisitors look like. And you're like, oh yeah, those are just fairy tales. Those are just monsters.
And then you see one.
Imagine you see Marsh walking around. 2 spikes in his eyes.
I know.
Spikes all over his body,
I know.
Oh my God. That's a demon.
No, that is a demon.
That is something that walked out of one of your childhood nightmares.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the hiding under the bed thing.
Crazy.
100%. Yeah, he's forever to live that horrible.
Oh, yeah. He's stuck like that.
Poor guy.
At
least says it let him.
But I mean, the spikes are in his brain.
Right.
If you pulled them out, he's fucking dead.
But are there any alive? I mean, I think
probably not. I mean, even if there were, they would be under Harmony's influence.
True. I mean, yeah.
Anything spiked that much is subject to Harmony's control.
We talk about in Shadows of Self. Good
Shadows
segue.
Of Self.
Good segue.
Thank you. Yes.
Totally planned that.
We did plan it. Yep, I planned it.
Shadows of Self kind of gets a little bit more into what's been going on with the fauna of Scadrial, in that the Conjurer are still kind of running around.
Yeah.
And they're kind of...
do be running around.
One of them's kind of being a little...
One of them goes crazy and starts killing people.
Yeah.
A certain Conjurer goes nuts and starts killing people.
One that we didn't know really much about.
No. Well, I mean, there were a lot of Conjurer in Era 1 as well.
No, but I feel like Milan was mentioned
in Era 1. Yeah, maybe she was. But either way,
Palm was not.
There were many generations of Conjurer.
Yes.
Even in Era 1. Isn't Tensoon third generation? I think they mentioned at least 7 generations, even in Era 1.
I think they said
yeah.
I think Tensoon was third.
Me too, yeah.
Because there was
he's an older one.
They talked about some kind of Conjurer law specifically, in that there was no generation, they can't have generation killings. Or something. There was something specifically. Because Orsur, the one that he killed, was a third generation.
Yeah.
And there was some kind of specificity to it, I think. I don't remember.
Either way, there's a lot of Conjure out there.
There's a lot of Conjure out there,
right? So it makes, and we didn't learn about all of them in the first trilogy, so it makes sense that Brandon can just be like, yeah, here's a Conjure.
Yeah, I'm happy that we got
there's
more
tons
Conjure.
Of them. I mean, we don't even know specifically how many Conjure there are. There could be 100. I don't think millions.
Well,
could be like
hundreds,
though.
But probably yes, so there's a killer on the loose, and it wore the face of the person who, I guess, held Wax's wife in the roughs, Lessie.
Yes, Wax's
at gunpoint,
deceased wife, which is how Alloy Law opens up, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Is Wax shooting his wife?
Yeah,
but yeah, this Conjure wore the face of
Bloody Tan,
who Wax blames for the death of his wife.
Yes,
because they did kill his wife.
Yeah.
And so Wax isn't happy about that. Yeah, he goes after.
But he's going a little paranoid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of
Wax is just a paranoid guy.
Yeah, but I feel that.
Sure. I know you do.
Don't call me out like that.
But I know this.
But so he has to find, he's got to deal with that killer. And he's kind of sent by Harmony himself.
Harmony sends him to take care of this Conjure.
But it kind of, it goes, like we were kind of saying with the fact that it's like, Sazed's kind of almost like trying to like corral him into being a new Vin.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't, I like the fact that Brandon's exploring this because it's almost like Sazed, you can tell that Sazed doesn't know what he's doing.
No.
Which isn't a bad thing.
I mean, think about this from Sazed's perspective, right?
Yeah, he's just a dude that got a god.
He's been at this for 340 years now.
Yeah.
Right? That's going to be nothing.
Oh, yeah.
For him, you know? Sazed will be around for thousands, millions of years.
Right.
Persisting.
So he's really just taking his first steps.
There could be other shards out there. I mean, there are other shards out there that have been holding that power for much longer than he has. He's very new to this. Like, in the grand scheme of things, 300 years is not a long time.
Right.
For him to have been doing all.
Right. So, but so, like, why is he kind of doing this, like, need that Wax needs to be almost this, like I said, it feels like he's trying to make Wax this new Vin.
Yeah.
Which I thought was
interesting.
And I think it, like, flows well with the story. And then, Wayne's kind of coming into his own a little bit with this one too. They were honestly split up for a lot of this book.
They were, yeah.
Because Maricy's kind of hanging out with the constable.
Yeah, the constables.
You know, and kicking ass because she's she's high up there. Okay,
yeah. Maricy, after the first book, Wax pretty much inspires her to pursue her dreams of being like Wax, you know, being a lawman,
right,
and stuff. And even in this book, she starts to kind of see flaws in the way Wax conducts his business.
Yeah,
you know, because she is very by the book when it comes to law enforcement. And he is a lawman from the roughs, and she's trying to be a lawman in the city. So
yeah,
you know, there's some conflict there, which is nice. But yeah, Maricy's kicking ass.
Oh yeah, 100%
in this book and taking names. I think that's I mean, she was a great character in the first book. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but
yeah, seeing how quickly Brandon was like, okay, now let's get her into some action.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think they all kind of improved in the last book. I don't think other than like, say, none of them take like a big drastic crazy. They kind of just up.
I also like how in this book, or in these books, they mention at least once that their culture is kind of rooted around the fact that Vin, the Ascendant Warrior, being a woman, inspires more women to be things like constables and roles like that. You know, so their society isn't as male dominated as like
But Maricy
you
also
would expect for that time.
Maricy doesn't even talk about, actually even calls out Alrianne in the book about almost like the like double standard of like, you still have to be feminine in the job.
Right.
Which I thought was interesting. Because Mercy's like, no.
Yeah.
And then she like goes and like,
she's literally just trying to do her job.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool. Good little like kind of world building, still keeping it like keeping it a little real.
Yeah.
But
definitely keeping it real.
But a little bit more like, yeah, no duh. Like, of course, some people are going to be inspired by Vin.
Yeah,
you
and of course,
have a big name
a society with Vin in it, like with her shaping most of their history, would be more accepting of
women,
roles. You know, in those roles.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty cool.
And then anyway,
Vin's a queen.
Vin is a queen. I love Vin. Miss her.
Me too.
Yeah. But
love Mercy.
I do love Mercy. I like her little. I like her relationship with Milan, the other Conjure that kind of hangs out with them.
I love Milan too.
I do love Milan.
Milan is
She's
awesome.
very funny. It's like
I'd like pretty much all the Conjure characters. They just like, get to be
the great interest.
They get to be so weird. You know,
because they constantly like. What is it?
To be as weird as they want.
Freaking Wayne goes to this like one bar thing, and he like, I guess it's not a bar. He makes it out like it's like a church, I think.
And it's a bar.
And it's a bar.
Yeah.
And he like gets it going. And then like Wax and Mercy show up, and Milan and Wayne are like having a burping contest, essentially. Oh, you know what? You know what the best is like they're having this conversation in Shadows of Self, and they're all like trying to figure out what their best like game plan is for this to like deal with Palm. Wayne just starts like building a tower of pillars.
Yeah.
Fucking Milan starts doing it, and then it's just like Wax is like, oh my fucking God.
Like, what are we doing?
But then he starts doing it too. That's the thing.
The like help thing,
right?
You know, because it's like, I just love the chemistry they all have.
They all have a really good fun chemistry.
It is really good, because Wax inspires Wayne to be a little more serious at times, but then Wayne inspires Wax to be a little more relaxed.
Yeah, it's a good yin and yang
times. So.
And then Mercy's just always trying to be so serious, but she's also like, I really think Wax is cute.
Yeah, she's just like, I think she's just very she just idolizes Wax very heavily.
Yeah, now it's more like an idolizes Wax. There was definitely
I think in book 2 she comes to realize she's like, oh, what I had for him maybe was a little crush. But it was mostly just me idolizing his lifestyle, sort of thing. And she comes to realize that in book 2, where it's like, no, him and I are just not.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Okay, one thing I actually really did like about Shadows of Self. Guess what? I'm going to mention Batman again.
Yeah.
This Shadows of Self basically took place over the course of like a couple days.
Yeah.
A lot of it was like over the course of a night. I think even. Like, I think Wisting got killed, and then I think they started the investigation, and then I think it was basically like a night, which I think
it's done very
such
well.
a Batman thing.
Oh, yeah. To solve all these crimes.
To do it all in a night type thing.
One night, yeah.
But I like the fact that
that's like every Batman game ever made is like,
it's all in
we're
one
going to do all this in one night. Yeah.
But what I liked was I think literally everybody's POV towards the end, all of them were like, so tired.
Yeah.
And I like that it had that, like, not so many stories do push it out like it's as if it needs to be this
right, yeah,
of solving.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes a killer has to act fast. No.
If the killer's secretly the governor. Oh my God.
Bum, bum, bum.
But
talk about the villain in this book now.
Almost so good. And the twist at the end killed me.
The fact that Wax's wife was a Conjure all along.
The whole time.
And faked their death.
Yeah.
Because Harmony said so.
Well, did Harmony tell Palm to do it?
I believe so. Either way, it goes crazy. Go crazy.
I didn't expect it.
Wax had to put her down.
Because the thing is that the thing is that when when they were wearing the bloody tan face, I was like, they're gonna wear Leslie's face in the thing. But Brandon really had to throw the extra salt in the wound. That was like, no, Palm was Leslie. There was no need for that, but he was just like, no, fuck you.
Yeah, she doesn't have to wear her face.
Palm
she
was
is her face. That is,
and I'm
Leslie.
Like, oh my god, how dare you do that?
Yeah, and the fact that Harmony sent Wax to take care of her too, like, and Wax had to watch his wife die all over again. Yeah, so like.
And double down that
I told you,
because Tensoon shows up and Tensoon even knew.
I told you for a while that like the opening of Alloy of Law was super rough, right? And then I told you for a while that the ending of Shadows of Self was even worse, and that's why. It's because she dies again. She dies again, but for real this time.
I think that's good.
I like it a lot. It's really good.
So because there was no chemistry with Steris and him, and you see in the epilogue that it's kind of like, she's finally like get it. And I
within the epilogue of this book, she kind of is comforting him. You know, like there's that scene where she kind of holds his hand while he's grieving.
Yeah,
and it's kind of a sign that throughout these months of him having to go through all this again, she's going to be there for him.
Yeah.
Which is really nice, like it's nice to see.
Right. Because I think
from her. And she gets a lot more in the next book.
I would assume so.
And it's all great stuff.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited about that. I think it's going to be good. But yeah, I thought Palm was like a really good villain. Because again, like I had said earlier, like I think there are moments where, he's got the earring and that's the hemorrhology. And Palm's talking in his head, and it's like it's like the fantastical way of doing like the Joker's talking over the intercom, like Batman, like I'm going to destroy you. But that's what it like feels like, and I like that. Just the serial killer thing just works really well. But the fact that it's like, how can you make Jack the Ripper like way worse? Make it so that he can also eat your bones and become you when you die.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. It's pretty good way of kind of putting it.
Yeah. It's a little fucked up.
Yeah.
But yeah. So.
Well, the fact that Palm can switch out spikes in this book as well.
Yes, to use swap
different fair chemical abilities.
And allomancy.
Yeah. Very cool.
Interesting.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But she has to be careful not to spike herself too much.
Because then
she'd be under Harmony's influence. Which is, again, just another cool aspect of the powers of Mistborn.
Yeah.
That's just really cool.
Yeah, I mean,
like the fact is like you can get as many powers as you want pretty much, but if you spike yourself too much, Harmony's he's got control you.
Yeah, I like that he's making it like complicated but not overly complicated. It's like, no, the Kendra can have powers, but like not too much.
Just wait, it gets more complicated.
Great.
It does. Yeah. There's so many finer details. But dude, just think about hemalurgy as a concept. Think of how much shit Brandon can do with that.
Oh yeah.
And then multiply it by 10, and that's what he does. And then multiply by 100, and that's what we don't know yet. Yeah. Shit's fucked.
Yeah. So, but I'm happy that the Conjurer kind of still around. I mean, other than Palm, but
but you like Air too.
I really like Air too.
Yeah. And you say Shadows of Self is your personal favorite
out of the two so far?
The two so far,
I would say out of the two so far, yeah, Shadows of Self is my favorite.
Oh, and then there's kind of like a B plot going on with Wax's uncle in these two books as well.
Yes, I'm hoping that doesn't become such a like stuck B plot thing. Because I honestly expected there to be more about that in Shadows of Self, but there wasn't.
No, it was mostly a book one thing, and then a little bit mentioned in book two.
Yeah, because
book two was more of its solo story focused on Wax.
So I'm interested because his uncle has his sister.
Yeah, his uncle does have his sister.
Wondering why the sister is so important. he can't only be using the sister to control Wax.
Who knows, man?
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Who knows?
Yes, but I like that Brandon is just like also like so many questions, because even the fact that at the end of Shadows of Self, it was like, yeah, the spike that Palm was using, we don't recognize the metal.
Yeah.
Like, we don't recognize it whatsoever.
No
like,
idea what it is.
Nothing. And it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
I didn't really see anything.
Unrecognizable metal.
I don't think I remember if there was any weird powers where it was like.
I don't think No, I don't think so.
No.
It's just a weird metal that they kind of suspect had something to do with why she was going crazy and why Harmony couldn't interfere with her. But yeah, but mostly completely unknown metal.
And then the double down of that Harmony's kind of also having to counteract another being named Trell.
Oh.
Which I had talked about Luke about this earlier. I know I've heard that name. I don't know where. Probably in some Stormlight epigraph.
It definitely has appeared in some Stormlight epigraphs. 100. And I want to say it appeared in one of the Mistborn epigraphs from Era 1 as well. The Trell goes back pretty far. Any closing thoughts? Any closing remarks?
About Wax and Wayne 1
Any
and 2?
Crazy ass theories?
I honestly don't know. I've been trying to like think about what my thought process for Trell was, right?
Sure.
Metal wise, like what the mystery metal was at the end, I wasn't like, oh, it's going to be this. I don't think it's anything. Because I also don't know that many metals. Brandon's kind of covered all the metals that I know in my knowledge.
Right.
Which is kind of funny that you realize how little names of metals you know about.
Right. I know. Yeah. It's like, I don't know what fucking metal it could be.
Yeah, exactly. Unless it's probably like a made up metal or something for the books.
Who knows?
But Trell wise, I honestly don't know. Because I truly don't. Like my brain immediately went to the deepness or whatever that was talked about in Final Empire, but that was Ruin.
Yeah. That was the mist.
The mist.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be revealed, and then it'll be like, oh, I feel so stupid. Or do you might not even know.
Who knows if I know? I could know many things. I could know everything.
Do you know? Oh my.
Anyway,
these books were bad. Only one Hoyd, one time Hoyd showed up, and it was he didn't even speak.
Yeah, bad books.
Bad books. I'm just kidding.
More Hoyd, make a better book.
Right, Hoyd is my ride or die.
Yeah, he does show up in the next one. He has speaking lines too.
Oh my god!
Oh, good heavens!
I need to hear him and Wayne talk.
I think he speaks to Wayne in the next book.
Because he hung out with Wayne, and because he was
but then in the book after that
is Lost Metal.
Yeah.
I wonder who shows up in that one, since everybody's like, how dare you read Secret History before Bands of Mourning? I wonder who shows up in Lost Metal. No, not Tensoon already showed up.
Stoonie Pop. Anyway, what other books do you want us to review?
Next up,
you think the new Warhammer game will be good? I do. Nothing.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
Next up is going to be Bands of Mourning. And then I'm going to go back to Stormlight.
Yeah. Gonna read Dawnshard and Rhythm of War, and then he will be caught up on.
I will.
Crazy.
Getting close, people.
Oh, he's not ready for that Rhythm of War cliffhanger, y'all.
We are getting close.
It up.
You're getting close.
And then soon enough, December will be upon us.
And Wind and Truth, people.
You guys excited for that cover? I'm excited for the cover reveal.
It's not getting a cover reveal. That's what it's supposed to look like. Pixels.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Sorry to break it to you.
No, it's all right.
He should release one where it's just pixels like that.
He should.
You bring that up to him at a signing. you sign this?
Yeah, I'll sign your copy of
TV static.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will see you guys in the next Lost in the Cosmere podcast, where we will be talking about the Bands of Mourning. Yeah. And hopefully it's more organized and no technical difficulties. Okay, bye.
Bye.